Hey folks, today I want to help you overcome those cloudy days. Stay tuned as I share how to go find the sun.
How many of you all going in your room?
Welcome back to another edition of A Cup of Joe, where we serve up that boost of inspiration to keep you going, because here's what I know. Hard times are going to fall on all of us, and we all need just a little bit of extra to keep us going. So just like that cup of coffee, I'm so thankful that you're here to fill up on A Cup of Joe to keep you moving forward. And I want to share a story with you about a previous trip that I was taking to go speak with a client, and I was flying from Charleston to Dayton, Ohio. And I had a layover in Atlanta, Georgia. And at their airport, it was about 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning when I arrived. And what I realized is that there was darkness filled the sky. Even though it was so early in the morning, I never saw the sun come up because there was some rainstorms that kind of settled in over Atlanta. And what I noticed as I was going through the airport as well, man, you could just feel, you know, like how that dark cloud and that rainy days kind of brings that gloom and doom a little bit. Man, people were just going through the motions. I felt like it was kind of a little bit scary, if I'm being honest, because people weren't really talking, they weren't chattering. And I believe it was just because of that darkness that was kind of brought on by that thunderstorm that kind of had people just kind of in that mellow mood. It was still safe enough for us to board the plane, in which I was grateful for because I needed to get to Ohio for this speaking event. And so as we got onto the plane, some of the windows in the plane were open and some weren't. And you know, typically I would find myself by the window just kind of glaring out the window to see as the bags are getting loaded and we're about to fly and take off into our destination. But even if I wanted to, you weren't going to see a lot because the rain was just coming down so heavily. But here's the thing that I realized is that even though it was safe enough for us to take off, there was still a little bit of just some angst and worry inside of me as well, because it was raining and you were fearing so much because over the top of you were all these dark clouds. And so everybody just kind of closed their windows down and leaned their seats back as we got into the sky. And as we got it soaring a little bit higher, as we started going a little bit higher into the clouds, the unthinkable happened. The unthinkable happened because, you see, even though the darkness had filled over the space where we were at ground level in Atlanta, we started soaring above the clouds. And as the pilot continued to take the plane higher and higher, he continued to climb into above the clouds and higher into the sky. The windows that were left, just the creases and the cracks open in the plane, you see, the sun just started beaming through, almost blinding us, because you know how your eyes take a little bit of time to get adjusted, right? As you're coming out of darkness into the bright light. And so I was like, oh, shoot, what is that? Like, what is this brightness? Oh, no. And I said, wait a second. Where did the sun come from? Like, we just left the ground minutes ago, and it was dark, there was rain, and there was nothing but darkness filling the cabin of the plane. There was nothing but darkness filling the skies. And what I quickly realized was this. The sun was always there. The sun was always there, but where we were on the ground level, we were covered with darkness. And as I looked around and watched the brightness of the sun kind of filling the cabin of the plane, I quickly realized this, folks, that there are times in our life that we have to go find the sun. There are times in our lives that things are dark. And you see, and even though the sun was always shining, we couldn't see it because the clouds that were covering us, that were hanging above us, were so dark and so thick that it was blocking the sun from reaching where we are. And so what I want to tell you is that if you are experiencing that dark cloud over your life right now, if you have just maybe things in your business aren't going the way you are looking for, maybe you're in a little bit of a rut, if we're going to call it that, and there's just this darkness, and you think that there's no sun out there. Like, Joe, I can't be positive today. I want to give you two things that I want you to do today, because what I realize in this moment is that even though the darkness filled us on the ground in Atlanta, there's two things that we have to do. The first is this. You got to change your position. Yeah. Change your position. Because even though there was no sun where we were on the ground level, when we soared a little bit higher and we got above those clouds, the sun was there the whole time. The sun was there the whole entire time. So what I'm telling you is that even though you may feel a little darkness, even though you may feel the clouds are over you in your business, in your family, in your personal life, and you just can't get out of that rut, what I want you to do is sometimes you got to change your position. What are you doing to change your position of how you go and find the sun? What are you doing to change your position to soar, to elevate who you are? What are you doing to change your position? Because sometimes you can't just stay where you are at ground level and expect the sun to come and find you. There are days that you have to go find the sun. So the first thing I want you to realize is that you got to change your position. And you may be thinking right now, like, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Joe, that's easier said than done. I can't just get on a plane and go fly. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm telling you that there's something that you can do right now in this moment. You can pause this video. When you finish this video, you can get up and change your position of how you're elevating yourself. That might be changing the way you eat, changing the way you meditate, you pray, changing the way of the people that are around you, changing the way you eat, changing something to change your position. That's what it's all about, folks, is that we have to start to see that just because where we are right now isn't giving us the results we're looking for, sometimes you just got to change your position. And I want to talk to those people that are like, Joe, I just can't even get up. I can't even move anything. Like, that's easier said than done, Joe. Well, here's the second part of this. Is the first is change your position. The second is that I want you to change your perspective. Change your perspective. Because what I realized in that moment, and I never knew it because I never ever realized that even though it's cloudy here, and you've probably heard the saying before where, well, I guess the sun just isn't going to come out today. I guess the sun just won't come out today, huh? Sun didn't come out. There's clouds all over. Sun didn't come out. That's not true. The sun always comes out. You just got to think about, maybe I'm just in a position that the clouds are just over me right now. But here's the thing. You may not be able to go find the sun by changing your position, but you can go find the sun by changing your perspective. So every single day, every single moment that you're in a situation where the clouds are covering you, metaphorically speaking, where there are clouds that are covering over you, what I want you to think about is just like that specific thing of the clouds covering you, change your perspectives to know the sun's always shining somewhere. And what do I mean by that? I mean this: focus on the positive. Focus on how you can extend gratitude to the things that you do have. Focus on how you can be kind to others. Focus on how you can love those who are close to you. Focus on changing your perspective, because where you are today is better than where you think that you could possibly be. It could always be worse, as the saying goes, so change your perspective because the sun's always shining, baby. So here's the thing. You'll never look at a cloudy day again the same. I can promise you that much. I won't. I'll never look at it again the same, because above the clouds, the sun is always shining. But I need for you to get up and go find the sun. Get up and go find the sun, because it's always out there for you. So change your position and change your perspective. And folks, here's the other piece about this today. I'm so grateful for all of the community, for all these subscribers that continue to come on to the YouTube channel here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because every single time that we come back to pour back into you, I know your cup sometimes is empty. And that's what we want to remind you, is to fill back into you. And so again, as I tell you all the time, don't just hold on to it. Go and fill it. Go and share it. Go and pour it into someone else's who needs to be reminded that they need to go find the sun. And maybe you need to go to that person and literally go and help them find the sun to change their position and change their perspective. Because days ahead are brighter if we will just go find the sun. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week with another edition of A Cup of Joe. Have a good day.